Lexie Hall was getting pushed all game. Look at that. Like elbowed, pushed, but guess who fell? That's a legal screen. She leans into Lexie Hall, pushes her. Look at this. Pushes Lexie Hall down. Like, I can't take this crap. I'm sick of watching it over and over. That's a moving screen. And then pushes her again. Look at that. You can't do that. They didn't call any. This is the only one they called a foul. She straight pushed Kelsey Mitchell into A'ja Wilson.
On the very night A'ja Wilson was crowned league MVP, the celebration turned into a disaster. What should have been the perfect showcase of her dominance quickly spiraled into one of the ugliest performances of her career. Instead of leading her team to glory, Wilson found herself at the center of controversy, throwing elbows, exaggerating contact, and looking more frustrated with every possession. Fans who expected a masterclass from the league's biggest star were left watching a 6-for-22 shooting nightmare. The spotlight that was meant to crown her instead exposed her, and the team built to dominate suddenly looked vulnerable. But how did things unravel so fast? Because Indiana wasn't just there to play, they came to fight.
This was supposed to be a night all about A'ja Wilson's legacy. She made history before the ball even tipped, but the game that followed reminded the Aces how tough this playoff run will be.
The Indiana Fever have pulled off the upset, the 6th seed, beating Vegas 89-73 to take game 1.
And A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces lose game 1 on their home court to the Indiana Fever, 89-73. The Indiana Fever were in control of this game from start to finish. There was a small little patch there in the third quarter. We started saying, are the Aces gonna come back? But Kelsey Mitchell and Odyssey Sims said, no, they're not going to come back. Not at all.
Heading into this game, the story was supposed to be simple. The defending champion Las Vegas Aces were the heavy favorites, armed with the MVP, home court advantage, and the swagger of a team used to winning. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever limped into the matchup shorthanded, missing key pieces and written off by nearly every analyst. Becky Hammon, the fiery head coach of the Aces, even doubled down before the game, telling reporters, "You haven't even seen the real Aces yet." That confidence set the tone. Vegas expected to steamroll a young, depleted Fever squad.
You actually just referenced it twice. It is Indiana. Dropped 2 of the 3 games to them this year, but you haven't seen them since late July. What excites you about that matchup?
That they haven't seen the real Aces yet. They caught us when we were a bit in turmoil. Not only that, they whooped us one of those stretches. So, you know what? We'll buckle in, hone in where we can, and take care of business.
But the problem with arrogance is that it leaves no room for surprises. And from the very first tip, the game didn't follow the script Vegas had in mind. The opening minutes told the story. Indiana wasn't intimidated by the bright lights or the deafening Vegas crowd. They came out fearless, moving the ball with pace, attacking the rim and showing a level of energy the Aces just couldn't match.
But on the court, the Fever crashed the party. Kelsey Mitchell dropped a playoff career-high 34 points to spoil the night with an 89-73 win.
What was supposed to be an easy warm-up game for Vegas quickly turned into a street fight they weren't ready for. Meanwhile, the Aces looked stiff, almost as if the weight of expectation slowed them down. Missed rotations, sloppy possessions, and a visible lack of rhythm made it clear something was off. Indiana seized control early, forcing Vegas to chase the game instead of dictating it. The defending champs had been punched in the mouth, but the real damage came when Indiana's star decided it was her night to take over. Kelsey Mitchell delivered a performance that silenced every doubt. Dropping a playoff career-high 34 points, she torched every single defender Vegas threw her way. Whether it was pulling up from deep, slicing through traffic, or calmly draining free throws, Mitchell looked untouchable. Each bucket felt like another dagger in the heart of the Aces. Fans online exploded with Money Mitch chants, turning her into the face of the upset. While Wilson looked lost and frustrated, Mitchell's composure and confidence only grew stronger. Vegas had no answer, and every time they tried to mount a comeback, Mitchell shut the door with another clutch shot. But she wasn't doing it alone. Indiana's supporting cast played their roles to perfection.
You better not blank on a miss, bitch. You might get ranked. Shot back. Let it go. Right. Go. What is? Flash for somebody. Die. You don't want to fight no hitter? No. Nigga, I'ma shoot you in the face.
Indiana's depth showed up in the moments that mattered. Odyssey Sims brought veteran calm, settling the team when the pace got frantic. Aliyah Boston, the rookie phenom, went toe-to-toe with the newly crowned MVP and made her look ordinary. Brianna Turner and Natasha Howard controlled the paint, securing rebounds and denying easy baskets. And Lexie Hull, often overlooked, made life miserable for Jackie Young on the perimeter, posting the highest plus-minus on the team. It wasn't just Mitchell's night, it was Indiana's night. Every player who stepped on the court bought into the fight, and together they created a storm Vegas couldn't weather. By the final buzzer, the champions weren't just beaten, they were humiliated. For Las Vegas, the loss was more than just a bad night. It was a wake-up call. The defending champs looked rattled, with Wilson's frustrated body language telling the whole story. Instead of celebrating her MVP award, she walked off the court with doubt written all over her face. Becky Hammon, usually confident, suddenly faced questions about her team's composure and preparation. And the numbers painted a grim picture. Historically, 72% of teams that win Game 1 in a playoff series go on to take the series. If that stat holds true, the Aces dynasty could be hanging by a thread. Meanwhile, in the other locker room, Indiana's confidence was sky high. For Indiana, this wasn't just an upset, it was a statement. The locker room was buzzing, players celebrating not just a win, but the belief that they could go further. They had walked into the Lions' den, stared down the defending champs, and walked out with a victory nobody believed was possible. The underdog tag no longer applied. Indiana wasn't just surviving it, they were thriving, rewriting the narrative in real time. And that left one final question. What happens next? If Indiana can repeat this performance, we might be witnessing the beginning of something historic. And if Vegas doesn't find answers fast, we could be watching the collapse of a dynasty that once looked untouchable. The night that was supposed to cement A'ja Wilson's dominance instead raised doubts about her crown. And the team built to rule the league suddenly looks shaky against a squad that was never supposed to be here. So the question is, was this just one shocking upset or the start of a full-blown takeover? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this series just got a whole lot more interesting.